Hi you. I'll be sharing a couple of tips on how to make your new Arch install a bit more complete.
And I'll be here to help her out and maybe add a bit of extra info.
First, I'll give a recap of what we did so far. We acquired the installation medium and booted it. Then we connected to the internet and partitioned and formatted the disk. Then we mounted the disk and installed essential packages. Then we generated fstab and chroot into mount. Finally, we installed a bootloader and booted. That left us with a clean Arch as a platform to install our favorite applications and customize to our liking.
And, the most important thing we did, continuously, throughout the installation was to use the Arch wiki. You are watching a YouTube video on Arch now, that's actually problematic. That is because arbitrary videos may not always be right, and can lead you astray. Therefore, take inspiration from videos, but keep the wiki alongside, when you do what that video tells you.
And keep that in mind, because here comes a few quick tips that you really should check with the wiki. First, from the general recommendations regarding users and security, you should create a normal user for everyday use, and you should allow that user to use sudo. This way you can run administrative commands when needed, but otherwise work without botching your system. To add the user is straightforward. I will use the wheel group for sudo access. Next, you need to install the sudo package with pacman. If you don't know how to do that, then please do read up on pacman before continuing. Then, to change the configuration for sudo, you must use the command vsudo. This output shows you what to add to the sudo configuration. If you prefer another editor than nano, then just substitute that. After these changes, your favorite editor will always be used when you use vsudo. The line starting with default goes into the default section of the file you edit with vsudo. The wheel line is near the bottom and just needs uncommenting. This will give you a good sudo configuration. Next, log out of root, and log in as the user you created, and try the command sudo id. You will be given a first-time warning on using sudo, and then the command will show that you are root. If you give the same command without sudo, you will be your normal user. Now, you have a normal user you can log in as, and use for your normal activities, and whenever you need to issue a command as root, such as when you upgrade, you can just use sudo. Now, the last thing I'll show you, you already know. To get a graphical desktop, use the wiki.
And do try different desktops. Play around, and let yourself have some fun.